For this project, I'm going to be making a shirt. I'm going to use an SVG file. If you have never used an SVG file, please check out my video specifically on using SVG files, including how to download them and then where to save them. I like to make folders where I save things so I can keep things organized. When you're using the StarCraft Create software, you're going to hit the import button and then you're going to navigate to where you save those SVG files. So I am going to go here, and this one is from Bunny Bear Studio. I can include a link in the description of this video also. And I'm doing this one that says, I don't age, I just level up. Okay, so now it's showing, oops, all the different pieces. And I just have to resize this. So let's look at the width and height over here. I think I'm going to make it, let's go with 10. That's pretty big. How about 9.5? And what I really recommend is you should go and measure the shirt that you're actually going to put this on. So once I went and measured my shirt, I determined that 10 inches for the height was going to be good, which makes it work out for 8.5. I did kind of want to go wider, but then it's really long, so if needed, I could add some little things around it to kind of make the whole design look wider. I do want to show you if I go up to Cutter and Preview. Now it's previewing just what it's actually going to cut. Those red lines show the cut lines. So that's perfect. I'm going to cut all of this out of black, and since I'm putting this on a shirt, I want to make sure that I have the whole image mirrored because I'm going to be cutting from the back side of the vinyl. So I'm going to go over here and there's rotate, but right over here there's a flip. If I flip it horizontally, that's basically mirroring my image. So perfect. Before I start cutting, I am going to save. And I'm going to save my project. And I think I have a folder for my solo. There we go. My projects. There we go. Right there. Perfect. So now I'm ready to cut. And to do that, I'm going to hit create. It's going to again show me a preview. It says I'm using my solo. And it's going to cut exactly where I have it on the mat. If I wanted to change my cut settings, I can do that here, but I think I'm going to leave it. And if I wanted to save it as a file, I could do that here, but it was an SVG already, so I don't need to. Now it's time to hit create. Before I start cutting my design, I am going to do a test cut. I really love this feature of the Solo. I can just hit that test button and it's going to cut a little square with a circle inside of it. So now I can move my mat out and kind of look at it and see if it cuts through the vinyl. I can also check to see if there's any drag lines, which would mean that the blade is extending too far from the holder. And you can see this peeled off really nice. So since I'm happy with the way it cut my vinyl, I'm just going to move the blade over the lower right corner and kind of get it in position so that it can start cutting. Now that it's done cutting, we can unload the mat and start weeding. Weeding is the process of removing the excess vinyl that we don't want on the shirt. So I like to use my weeding tool. It just is a little hook kind of tool, and get the corners started, and then I can pull off the excess. And this is weeding really nice because it's nice big thick letters. Sometimes if you're using a font that's got thinner sections, I like to start closer to the letters to make sure that things don't peel off. But this is nice and big and thick, so it's working really nice. Now, after I get this main section off, the clear carrier sheet is going to be kind of sticky. So that just helps when you're placing it on the shirt. So it doesn't really stick hard, but it holds it a little bit. You can use a heat resistant tape to hold it in place even more. Now you can see I'm coming back in and getting some of the closer sections, and yes, my hands are kind of sticking to that carrier sheet, so just be careful. Also, when you peel things off, sometimes those will stick to the carrier sheet. So before you press anything, take a look and make sure you don't have a scrap of vinyl that got stuck in the wrong spot. And now I have to weed out the centers of the design, and I'm going to come back and do all the centers of the letters, like the D, the O, the A. So just take your time and come through each letter and really look at it. Sometimes if it's a really detailed design, I like to pick the whole thing up and hold it against the light to see, did I get everything? Because there can be some little pieces that are hard to find. If you're ever in doubt of which piece to peel, go back to your design and just look at it and look at what is part of the black portion in this case, and then what you can see the designing canvas through. Anything that's kind of white, or you can see the canvas through on the design screen, that's what you're going to want to weed out. Sometimes it's easier to start with like the centers of the O's and the D's, because then that helps you see the design a little bit better. But you can use whatever method you want of either referencing your original design or starting with centers. But find one piece that you know this is the one that has to come out, and that will help you find the rest of the pieces as you go along. And there you go. It's all weeded and we're ready to press this on a shirt. Before I even press the design on the shirt, I'm going to press it to just warm up the surface, but also it smooths it out and it helps remove any moisture that might be in your shirt. Now that I have my design on there, I am going to grab a piece of parchment paper, place that over the top, and press. Please read the directions on the vinyl that you use. Every brand of vinyl is going to have different time and temperature. I did speed this video up, so that was not a full press time there. And then you just peel off that carrier sheet. If you run your hand across it and you feel like some of the edges aren't totally sealed down, you could put the parchment paper over it again and give it another press. But otherwise, your shirt is done. Before you go, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. I love to hear from you.